about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Around by YouTube, it's Charles here, and I want to talk about another comic today. Today we're going to look at Haikyo from Crusade Comics. This is a smaller publisher, and I really like to get into the smaller publishers because they don't have the same constraints as larger companies do to appeal to the widest basis possible. And this book can be hard to find. You're most likely not going to find it on the shelves of your local bookstore. I've either had to pre-order, add it to a full list months in advance, or go to Midtown Comics to find it, but it's worth it. First of all, the art is beautiful and it's consistent all the way through. Second of all, they have a continuity going back over 20 years with this character, and they stick to that time continuity in a very creative way, which I'll get into later. And also, they do a great job of, each issue is its own story, and you don't feel like you missed out for a few reasons, because they give you a preamble that takes the story all the way back to 700 AD to now, and as well, like I said, that preamble, and they reference a lot of the history throughout the story. This is actually the third one since the revival of the franchise. The last one was called She, Return of the Warrior. She means death in Japanese, so that is her moniker. This warrior here is She, and it took place 15 years chronologically and literally after the last issue, so that was called Return of the Warrior. It was a 2-book arc where you meet the character who is in a way forced back into the life of a warrior that she's trying to put behind because of strange happenings in New York, where she lives now, and she has spent all this time trying to divorce herself from this lineage of warriors, and she lives with her grandpa, who has been secretly training her daughter in the ways of a warrior, with martial arts and history behind She's back. And that comes full circle. I'm not going to give away spoilers here, but they do a great job, like I said, of tying that 788 AD all the way up through time to where we see She now conflicted about her past and not wanting to get back into the world of being a hero or a warrior. And throughout those 2 issues, you find out that she has someone essentially stalking her, and they're committing this series of gruesome murders, trying to draw her out, trying to draw her She persona out. And we find out that who we thought was the antagonist throughout the whole story ended up being a pawn of the real antagonist, who was a prison psychologist, who, in counseling this protagonist from all these years back, who was in prison trying to change his life, he became enamored with not only this prisoner, but with She. And he ended up driving him mad. And so now we're at the point where that was all figured out, put together, and at the end we're left at the cliffhanger of this psychologist attacking She's home and menacing her daughter and grandfather. And the story picks up from there. And like I said, a great book. The downside is they don't come out consistently on a month-by-month basis. Before Return of the Warrior, it was 15 years. And between Return of the Warrior and Haikyo, it was months. And so it's a hard one to anticipate, because it is a smaller company, and it's not going to be available at your local comic book store likely. You either have to order it through Pull Box or go to a larger retailer to find it, but it's well worth the read. And one great thing about it is if you look at a book from the 90s. I actually have a crossover between her and Vampirella from the 90s. But you look at those books and these books, and the continuity of the art and the writing is still there. And I think it creates a unique world from other comic books you're going to get from a Marvel or a DC or even a Dynamite Comics. It has its own distinct style, and it's very beautiful, even with the gruesome subject matter that it does broach occasionally, but it all makes sense, and everything has stakes and meaning. So check it out, She Haiku. This is number 1. Like I said before, I do not know when number 2 is coming out, but I am going to be looking for it. It's one of those, it is worth tagging, paying attention to, because if you are a fan of beauty, of martial arts, of great storytelling, and deep lore, this is a book for you. So I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.